All right, and welcome to the Gender Exchange. We are live on Facebook on the Tshwane Molemo Facebook page, and today is the 28th of June, 2023. It's 6 o'clock, and I'm hoping that today's Gender Exchange has been well and highly anticipated because we have a very curious and interesting and enticing and curious and juicy topic with two interesting people who are very well accomplished. And today we've got Andile Ncube and Azania Motjetje. Guys, welcome to the Jane Exchange. Please say hello. Can you hear me?
Hi everyone. Hey. What do people say at this point?
I'm sorry if I wasn't opening. We were going live. Going live can be quite it's going live, it's coming live, it's preparing. But today is the Trans Love and Sexual Fluidity edition of the Gender Exchange. And what is trans love? What is sexual fluidity? You know, I've become patriotic to like my country and to my community, and I'm like, love is us loving us amongst each other and not having, animosity or questions that make us disrespect each other, or so I really think it's important for us to, as a community, as a trans community, as LGBTI community, to have love amongst each other. And then and also not say we just came from this world where there was opposite sex, so now we are in a world where there's same sex, and they still want to tell us what kind of same sex to have. Why should they do that? But anyway, we're not there yet. Before I get into the questions, I'm gonna open it up for Andile to please say hello and introduce himself and tell us a little bit about himself. And yeah, please welcome. Hey, Andile.
Okay, thank you, Nosana. Good evening, everyone. My name is Andile Ncube. I am a trans-identifying man. Born in Botswana, in a very small village called Motjetje. Yeah, and I was basically raised by a single mother, and I have my older sister. I'm the last born. They both kind of raised me. And growing up, I wouldn't say I was the most easiest or the most hardest child growing up, but I remember very well that I struggled a lot with my gender identity and just fitting, because I knew I was different, and I didn't really look into it, why I feel like I'm not connecting to the person that I see in front of the mirror. I just thought maybe, well, girly things are not for me, and only to realize that it's just like something, a fight within me, until I started, trying out other things. And I started trying other things when I was in boarding school now. Boarding school.
What other things are we talking about?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Listen, in boarding school, I feel like that's where I started realizing, because boarding school is a room full of girls, and I started realizing that oh my god, I don't actually feel and identify as they do. I'm not comfortable around them. I'm not comfortable with them seeing me as much as they are comfortable as me seeing them naked. And that's when I started trying boy clothes, because now I feel those are the things I was talking about, not the things that you're thinking.
I was just know what things you were doing. Yeah.
Now I started trying out things like, boy clothes now,
Uh-huh.
because I was far from my mom and I could, be myself. And I was like, oh, now I'm really comfortable in this. And then after boarding school, I decided to go and do construction, building and plastering. And it's a field it's a field that is uh dominated by male. And I was the only person in the register who identifies with an F in a room full of boys. And despite that fact, I felt like, well, now this is more like it, because I really felt like I did fit in very well. And then yeah, everything started unfolding. But as per my sexual identity, I always knew, hey, I'm into honeys, I'm into babies, I'm into girls. Yeah. And then I started volunteering with Le Khabibo in 2014. That is when I started getting into the movement, actually, because I wanted to understand me. So I felt like if I wanted to understand myself better, I should align with people that are actually in the same group that I'm in. And after that, I started working with other NGOs such as Rainbow Identity and Banana Emojis, so on and so forth, until today. No, I parted ways with Le Khabibo last year, December, and I am currently working as the advocacy officer of the Lifeline Northern Cape in the sex work program. Yeah, that's basically all you need to know.
Oh, no, that's great. Lifeline Sex Program, Northern Cape.
Yeah.
No, people are talking those details. And I think, I mean, the fact that, that's another whole other area. And I'm looking forward very soon to be talking to a non-binary person who works with LGBTI sex workers. So many topics.
Yeah.
Hey Azania, hi, how are you?
Hi, my lovey.
Listen, welcome once again. Please tell us a little bit about you. From growing up young to getting to the stage where
Hey,
you're a student, teacher, mathematics. What are you talking about?
it was hectic for me. It was really hectic. My name is Azania Motjetje. I was born in Johannesburg, and then we moved right here to Botshabelo and section. My pronouns are her and she slash queen slash goddess. That's just who I am. And I was born into a very extremely conservative and conventional family. It was very hard for me to be myself in this kind of family. They're very traditional, very cultural, and for that fact, I had to go through my childhood in a closet. And when it hit me, I'm very thorough. It came as a shock because I grew up writing stories on Wattpad. There was an app on I don't know if you guys know Wattpad. You guys know Wattpad?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
I used to be an author on Wattpad, and I would write stories, and my stories were about um, gender transformation. My characters would start as uh, boys and later on be girls. And it did not hit me. I thought this is just being creative. I'm just writing
When you
stories.
were
And
doing that.
then one day it just hit me and I realized I am not like other boys. And it was very hard to me to be myself in my family. And I had to be in a closet for a very long time. I only had to come out when I got to tertiary. Can you imagine that? I went
Oh
through
my goodness.
primary in high school in a closet, and I had only came out when I got into tertiary because I thought, you know what, I'm independent now. I can be myself, you know, I can tell them what's going on. And then eventually I told them,
Yeah.
Mama, Papa,
Were you
this
both
is
in
who
the
I am.
closet as your gender and your sexual orientation, or everything?
Both my gender and sexual orientation.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
it was very, very hard for me. But I knew I did not identify as gay, you know, and yeah, I knew there was something different because I grew up with a lot of gay friends, but I knew there was a huge difference between me and these people. And then I don't know how accidentally on the internet I met the transgender term. And then I thought to myself, this is who I am. This is how I identify. And from then on, I became myself. And now I get to do what I always wanted to do, which is be a student teacher and stand in front of people as myself, you know, and change these kids' minds and just be genuinely myself and tell people who I am and do things as who I am and just show them what's actually transgender, you know, and yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, guys. You know, it would be so nice if later on we can do like a photo shoot and becomes like on a magazine, you know. I think, you know, that would be really cool. And I feel that being in Black bodies and being trans and being bold, and everybody's trying to be bold, you know, and it's not always safe. So now some people, they call it you're becoming neutral. You don't want to commit to either sex if you are maybe non-binary. How do you guys understand the term non-binary, you know? And like, what do you think? Because some people go like, can they, just like bisexual people, they'll say like, can you decide please, why both? Or why can't you choose? I'd love to hear your opinion. I'll start with you, Azania.
Well, I think for me, I think being non-binary is a term we use to describe people who do not identify exclusively as male or female, you know? I think it's a term that is an umbrella term actually that encompasses all other types of genders that are outside the traditional binary system that categorizes people as male or female.
Mm. Oh, so you're not going to give it like a personality. Yeah, no, you're right. What do you think, Andile?
Well, like Azania also, I think it's an umbrella term, you know. It actually it doesn't neither say male, female, trans. It's just a
Yeah.
way. Yeah, it neither identifies as any of those genders or any genders that we know. It's just there. It's on. Yeah.
You know, they like to say, oh, but I'm double stigmatized, I'm triple stigmatized,
Yeah.
you know? Now, and if we're in Black bodies, we already got the race stigmatization that automatically we're going to be on the defense, seen as less or not as equal just because of our race. And then there'll be your gender, there'll be first your sexual orientation if you're gay, you know. But now if you're trans, it's almost like the third cross that you bear, or the one extra thing that is considered as, now why more things about you that I must understand about you, you know, that are not the same as everybody else, you know. So how do you guys deal with that, this triple factor, you know, of, you know, maybe when you're young before you're dating, it's like, I mean, I grew up in the 80s, so there was still quite a bit, you know, of racism and things. Now you're gay and you know. So have you guys managed to kind of understand how big it is on top of that? And how do you deal with that? I'll start with you, Andile.
Yeah, I think from my own experience is that I grew up around activists, and those are the most strongest pillars of our movement right now, and they always, and I'm not saying they in a bad way, I mean the activists, they always make sure that you are instilled with understanding and better responses to situations, and sometimes information on how you can restrict yourself from always being a target or always finding yourself as a victim in these cases. So I think for me, it goes back to being sensitized, that I had so much sensitization in understanding my gender and my sexuality, and not just mine, but other genders and sexualities beyond that, to a point that I wouldn't just sit and watch a black person, get, run over just because it's a black person. Because I say I advocate for the marginalized, and I have been instilled with knowledge and skill. So I feel the only thing that is working out for me is knowledge and understanding and the skills that I have gained in this work.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Andile.
Yeah.
What about you, Azania?
I always give props to, the people who came out when it wasn't, like, imagine Kim coming out at that point in time.
Yeah.
It must have been very hard. People are dealing with this and that, apartheid, segregations and everything. And then where now you come here and then you're gonna tell us, what, I identify as a woman. I, I,
Yeah.
I give props to a lot of those people, and I appreciate them. And I also tell them, I meet a lot of those people, and I verbally tell them, you know what, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you've done for us. And you have somehow, because there's a lot of those people in my community, and it somehow made it easier for people like me, to embark on this journey, honestly speaking.
So when you didn't come out at home and only at tertiary, were you protecting your family from the information about you, or were you protecting yourself from the reaction of maybe them not like loving you anymore or wanting you anymore or whatever?
Listen, I don't know how to pin it down, but I'm a very sensitive person. And I am I have a very huge fear of rejection and abandonment. When I grew up with other boys, right? And I could hear what they had to say about people like me, and I got very scared. I thought to myself, nobody's gonna like me, nobody's gonna appreciate me. And also, honestly, I thought it would make my family look bad. Like I said, we're from a very traditional family. I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid people would not like me. And so when I found out what was going on with me, I told myself, I have to hide this. And I hid it very well, honestly speaking. I deserve a Grammy.
Oh my goodness, and that's also a big part of the pain that we need to unlearn about how we see ourselves, When for so many years we are ashamed of ourselves and who we are so much that we hide it because we think that it will even make other people look bad, and you're trying to protect them about something that's bad about you. I mean, to unlearn that that's untrue is so important for us, So I love it when I see how you've blossomed and flourished and come into yourself. And so I can't wait to talk more about that. But I really wanted to just say that if anybody's watching this and they're scared, sometimes it's not safe. We don't all need to hear if we're still loved by our family or not if we tell them, But we need to unlearn that fear and what we thought so bad about ourselves, right? And yeah, so did you guys, you didn't both answer that. Did you answer that, Andile? Hello?
Andile did. He actually did.
He did, not great. Sorry about that. Yes, you started off with you because Andile, you were saying all these institutions and all these activists that came before us and how strong they are. Yes, of course, you know. But now I feel like you guys are a new generation of trans people. You're a new generation in the sense that more is possible and you're younger. And I feel like when we were older, we were still trying to get just the basics right, you know, and now at least organizations are there that have been around for a while, right? So now in today's topic, we are talking about sexual fluidity, right? What does that mean, guys? What does that word mean? What does that term mean? Are you going to tell us, Andile?
Yeah, let me just
so
get
that I
it
don't ask
get
again and
it
say
down and over with.
you answered. Sorry.
I think with my own understanding is when one's sexuality is not fixed. Like, you know, it has got to do a lot with multiple aspects of sexuality, you know, like sexual identity, like sexual orientation. Those are the aspects that we look at when we at the end say someone is sexually sexual. The word is gone, guys. Help.
Sexually fluid.
Sexually
I
fluid.
don't think I should ask you questions one at a time. I'll always pose the question, and whoever comes in,
those
will
are
answer.
those are the aspects we look at when we talk about sexual fluidity, like sexual identity or sexual orientation, the people you date and how they identify, how, you know, and some people are not fixed to say, I only date men, I only date women, you know. Yeah.
So the word bisexual is outdated. We are fluid now. We don't need to use the word bisexual anymore. The word.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't think a bisexual would. Well, let me not think for people. Fine, it's fine. It's fine.
Or pansexual. Pansexual also mean fluid.
Yeah, pansexuality also is fluid, I think.
What were you going to say, Azania, about the sexual fluidity?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Listen, I think what it means when we talk about sexual fluid, when you're sexual fluid, I think it means sexuality changes over time and different situations. Emphasis on different situations, you know, because I have a friend of mine who is transgender, but sexually identifies as, and this was the first time I heard of this, biromantic heterosexual. You know, and
romantic heterosexual. Oh, I get it.
You know, and I was asking, what does that mean? And she said it means she can only be attracted emotionally, romantically attracted to both genders or other genders, only emotionally and romantically.
Yeah.
But sexually, she's only attracted to cisgender males.
Oh, you know? So if you happen to be not a cisgender male, you are going to not have sex.
Exactly the point. And it's a bargain if you do not understand sexual fluidity. Imagine dating a biromantic heterosexual person. They come to you as you are the girl or a transgender male, and they come to you, they date you, and then they tell you, I can hang out with you, you know, we can make out, second beds, you know, I love you, but I cannot be sexually attracted to you. You know, we cannot go that far. you know, and you need to understand that. So for me, I feel like, you know, we need to understand that human sexuality is flexible, very flexible.
Flexible. Another word for fluid, flexible.
Exactly. You know, we can be, a lot of people are attracted to the person's energy and what they bring out into the world, you know. If the spark is there, no Sana, if the spark is there, it's there. Go for it.
Yeah,
Life is too short.
I tell
Love
people,
will be one.
I also tell people like it's like sexuality is like, it's like liquid. It takes every form you pour in it. Like if you
Exactly.
pour it in a cup, it's gonna take that cup form. If you pour it in,
What are you
like
saying?
yeah, it's so fluid. Like
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And we have this misconception that sexual orientation develops at an early stage and remains for the rest of your life, which is wrong. You know, it changes over time. I mean, you meet other people. There's a term for people who are only attracted to smart people. It's called being sapiosexual. You know, yeah. I say, for example, I moved to Botswana and I get into a room full of very smart, intelligent men, and I feel like, you know what, I'm only attracted to this kind of men. I'm only going to date these kind of men, and that is it. It's a different situation. You meet different people.
I was just about to ask about the situation, you know, because when you were saying situation, in my mind, I was thinking, it's a little bit, it's unpredictable, it's unplanned, and you couldn't have thought to have that preference, but now this is the situation, because it's maybe coming across in you. Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean, because I remember I went to an event by Tulana Emily.
Yes.
Right. And there was a topic about trans love. You know, I had people talking about trans people dating trans people, and I'm thinking to myself, how? What are you doing? What are you doing? You know? And I think you were there, and I think we were in the same room that day. I don't know if you remember, but we were in the same room. And, you know, it so happened that I had to also date a trans person.
Oh, well, now we're going to get to that. We'll get to that. But so basically, I love how you're describing what is sexually fluid. It's like a liquid that you can pour in any container, takes the form of that container. I'm going to try and find different shaped containers because of that now that you've said, right? Just to pour liquid, not for it.
Right.
And I also think that knowing that it's not something that you start off with as your sexual orientation that stays the same. It can change later. The situation can change, you know. So you said already, because my next question was like, are you sexually fluid, the both of you? But you've both been open enough to kind of say that you are. And but this can't be an easy thing. Before people think like, oh, we're going to talk about sexual fluidity. You know, what kind of public expectations are there? Like, I feel we can be like this, you know, and we can decide we'll date whoever you want, however and whoever I want, no matter what, you know, the genitals or whatever previous thing, you know, and then I've decided that and I'm fine with it. But then the public will have an opinion, you know, and the other queer community will have an opinion. You were saying there's what? And you already just said you were also guilty of that just now. How does that happen? You know? So how, now that you're doing it, how is the public saying, responding to you, and even other queer community? What have been some of the comments, guys? Has it been well done, or is it like some not so good?
Not good. A lot of them are not good, you know, and there's a term for it. I forgot what they call it when a trans woman is dating a trans man. There's a term for it. It's something they call it.
I don't know the term.
Yeah, it's condescending actually. It's like when you fuse gay and lesbian, and then you come up with one name. I think it's Gavian or something. Yeah, and that's what they call it, you know, and they don't think it's a thing. They think it's wrong. They think you know, we shouldn't be doing that. And they don't understand I'm attracted to you as a person. You know,
Yeah.
your vibes, your whole aura, your whole energy. You know, we're
Yeah.
compatible. We can talk, we can hang out. You know, it flows so easily, and I want to be with you. And you know, and it starts off as being friends, and then you realize you're developing feelings for this person, and you just tell them, you know, dude, I can't stop thinking about you.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, you better live, or else, you know. I love that.
Yeah,
I love
and
the fact that you're not scared to go like, you know, I feel like this. I'm going to be honest about it. I was already for like 18 years, keep going at home. I don't do that anymore.
listen, I know you. I'd either text you or call you, or we meet face to face. I tell you, hey, dude, I'm crazy.
Oh my God. Hey. Now what was my question?
Okay.
So public expectation has like and opinion have been that there's been people calling this horrible name between a lesbian and a gay, you know, what we can't remember, you can't we'll have to
Yeah.
find out this word. And also falling in, you know, in love, you know, and being brave enough to say it. Andile, what happened with the public and the other queers about you?
Yeah. Hey. Like I say, every opportunity that comes with, you know, clearing the misconceptions and the myths about surrounding sex with trans people, I always jump to grab it, because for the longest time I was like Azania. I was like, how? A trans person and a trans person. And it doesn't help that people in the community are the ones who are saying, yeah, I mean, like, how ridiculous is that?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, the people in the community. So I was like, no, I'm not for that. I love women, trans women are beautiful women, but not for me. Until I fell in love with a trans woman, and I'm like, okay, so what was that all about, that people were saying that, like, why is it always about what's between my legs, and
Exactly.
why is it always about sex, the act? Like, why is it not about love? Why is it not about emotions, you know, affirmation? And because in my relationship with a trans woman, I found a lot of things, not saying I couldn't find those things in cisgendered women or any other woman, but there are things that I got to find inside that relationship, like, you know, affirmation, and, you know, because it was from the same place that I want to be affirmed from. And, you know, it's just like reciprocating what she expects and I expect all the time. And you find out, okay, even though there is this aspect of sex, but there is a bond beyond sex. And some people are not comfortable in using their private part. And people always think just because you are with Andile, then we are going to obviously, you know, use Andile's private part in the sex act. It's not always the case. And like I say, I am always quick to say no, but it's not always the case, even though, yes, what you are saying could be true, but open your mind to other possibilities, you know, because
Yeah.
also sex is a way of being affirmed. You cannot do anything on me that I am not comfortable with just because it is what the society think it's happening. No.
Yes. My goodness. All right.
So you see, with trans love, there is that respect my body, I respect your body. Know what I want and know what I don't want. And sometimes we don't even care about what we don't want or what we want. Sometimes those things don't even matter. what we have is what we have, and what we do is what we do. You understand? Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
open your mind to other things. Don't just say because we have things between our legs, then those things have to come in play. No, guys.
you're some hardcore Olympic foreplay deluxe maximum triple glove. Rock.
This
Just because I've got between my legs, it's not in use, not necessarily. What do you think's going on here? Lots to do. Hi, Azania. You know, that was not the question, you guys. You guys are always a question ahead. You're always answering the next question. I love it, you know, because I was thinking that we are going to talk more about, you know, all these ways in which we have to first hide the kind of sex we're having, or when we are having a transgender to transgender love, then we have to be defensive over whatever people are expecting that we're doing, right?
Mm, mm.
So I thought, you know, there were going to be, you know, so basically you don't even need to know all the ways in which people disapprove. You've just even
Yeah.
gone way past that. That's what I kind of want to say as to answer the question, right? And would you get gender affirming surgery, or have you, or would you? And yeah, I'm very curious about that because I had top surgery, and people always tell me I always talk like this. I'm like, hey, man, I couldn't reach it. You know? Yeah.
You know,
I thought of you as
I would. I haven't, but I would. I would definitely get surgery. I think it's very, as a trans person who deals with a lot of gender dysphoria, it's very important that you look like how you feel and you feel like how you look, you know? You wake up and then you look into the mirror, you see a reflection of you internally, you feel like a woman. And then the reflection is a body with male physical attributes, right? So I think for me, it will be very important to combat gender dysphoria. Very important, so that it makes me feel how I look and look how I feel.
What about you, Andile?
Yeah, well, for me, I would do my top surgery, which I was hoping I would have long done. Um, I don't know about the the bottom surgery because I I I wouldn't say I'm 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 happy with the surgery results. So there is fear rather in that
Yeah.
aspect. There is fear,
Yeah,
you
bottom
know.
surgery for trans men is not.
It's
Yeah.
very complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, for trans men, it's quite complicated. So there's before anything comes fear. So I'm just like, okay, let me pack it. Let me just pack it here for now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, even me too, guys. I will not have bottom surgery ever.
Yeah.
But
Bottom
this,
surgery.
yeah, I really, really commend anyone who has any surgery or no surgery. But when
Yeah.
you go through it, I mean, you know, it's a risk and a choice that you made for yourself, and you knew what you were getting yourself into, you know.
Yeah.
But now, when people don't know what's there, whether there's surgery or not, you know, people
Yeah.
be, people like sometimes, you know, maybe even approach you just to find out, not maybe even necessarily for the love or the genuine attraction or interest, but just kind of like, I want to know. In the same way, I would imagine maybe intersex people have that problem. So how would you guys like handle, and how do you handle when you can tell that people are just, they are curious about that and they're not really want something serious or something like that. But I mean,
It's very,
yeah, sorry.
yeah, it's very sad and hurtful when people only desire you when you're not desired romantically and just only sexually, you know, it makes you feel like you just a part of their fantasy. For me, it's like, and you can't even tell, honestly, when I know Sana, you can't even tell when a person, like their intentions, if they want more from you, or it's just, for them, it's just a fetish. Because, you know, it's like now they know that we are looking out for that. Like, we being careful and cautious when you get into relationships with them, and they will give you what you think you want, you know, until they're satisfied. And just for them, it was just physical, you know.
Yeah. What about you, Andile?
Yeah, I
In
think
that case.
it's the same, like Azania said, with us being cautious about our body, it takes a little while. Let me speak for myself. It takes a little while until maybe the act of sex comes to play because of those insecurities, and you realize that if you take longer, people don't stay. You know, they can't stay to listen to you talk about gender dysphoria, talk about, oh, don't see, they can't stand that. So they just like, ah, man, okay, fine. And you know, it, like Azania said, it's quite disappointing in the end because um it takes time for anyone to present themselves as however they identify. It takes
Yeah.
courage. And when things like that happen to you after building yourself so much, give you an example. Somebody said to me, they broke my heart, and I asked them why did they do that. They said,
Wow.
I don't love you. I was in love with the idea of you. So
Oh,
it gave me that thing to say, okay, the idea of me, it's not the reality of me. Obviously, you know, the idea of who I am is not how you are going to see me. You know, you're
Yeah,
going to see
it's in
me.
their head. They
It's,
shouldn't
yeah.
punish you for something in their head.
And I was like, oh my God, so this person just got in here to find this, whatever they wanted to find inside, and just bounce. Like, okay, they found that, and I'm left here to pick up the pieces. And how will I know that the next person is not here also for that, you know?
That damage that is being caused. Don't
Emotional.
do that stuff, guys. Don't come in and
emotional
experiment,
damage.
especially lying and saying romantic things to us. Oh, you'll schmooze me with all the right things. Auntie, you're gonna none of that. We don't want any of that. No, no. I'll come. Anyway, no, guys. Yeah, I mean, so then I mean, the first question I asked was like, you know, some of the things where it's difficult to be dealing with so much. Just now, there's even the love life, you know, we're
Yeah.
queer, trans, Black bodies who now also have like some kind of almost tragic love life that is, we have to be so cautious just to have it, and then you go for it, you know. So the support structure, I mean, I know I've got my support structure of like just a handful of people that know all my ins and outs. But sometimes the support structure won't be people you tell everything, but who's your guys'
Yeah.
support structure? Eh?
Okay, let me go
Yeah,
first.
you can go, Andile.
Yeah, for me, it has to be my mother. It has to be
Oh,
my mother. because even though she was doing it in a rather, because it was new for her, I would say I knew that I was different because of my mother. You know, she was that neighbor who would just get into a random fight with the neighbor just because the neighbor called me with maybe a word is that suggests that I'm gay, or you know,
Oh.
and she would always get in the fights, and somebody would just call me like worry but he looks like Ker Musimani, and she would take offense, and that's when I knew her, there must be something wrong with me. And you know, she has always showed support, even though it came as aggressive sometimes, because maybe she did not even understand what she herself is dealing with. And but in all honesty, even up to this date, my mother still feels like it's a right to say Happy Father's Day to me, and it's something that
Oh, wow.
I really appreciate. You know,
That's
like
great.
I love that about her, the support that
Oh,
I get from her. Yeah.
oh, that's great, man. What about you, Azania?
Yeah, me too. It has to be my mother,
Really?
honestly.
Oh,
It has to be my mom and my friends. Um, Listen, I grew up with a lot of female friends, with a lot of girls. I was with boys, right? I had boyfriend, I had male friends, but I enjoyed myself more with the other girls, right? And you see, as much as you're in a closet and you're hiding yourself, but when you get comfortable, when it's fun, and you forget that you're in a closet, they see you, right?
You
And you forget you're having fun, like, it's fun, you're like, ciao me, and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And they saw that because I was giving out hints, and a lot of them, when I came out and told them what's going on, they told me straight right up, we already saw what's going on, hun. We were just waiting for you to tell us what's going on.
yeah.
So my mom and my childhood friends, honestly speaking, that's my support system.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's
and shout
wonderful.
out to the activists.
Oh, yes, of course, right. Of course, you know. Um, you know, no, well, that's a topic for me for another day. It's wonderful to have your mom because that's somebody who's known you. If you don't get that rejection from the one person who's known you since you were young, that's the best, it's most comforting things that I can imagine, you know, that you can have. But now, we can talk about like cisgender privilege and heterosexual privilege, but there's also pretty privilege, good looking privilege, being
Oh,
left alone privilege, having a
Exactly.
deep voice
Yeah.
privilege, being sexy privilege, guys. So anyway, there's lots of privilege out there that must exist, even though I've been talking about this, you know, the many things that we go through. Can you can you think of any privileges that you've had in your life, in your trans life, in your love
Yes,
life,
I
in your
actually
divorce life?
I have a recent example of a
Yes.
privilege. Listen, men have so much privilege. I I have lived both in a woman's body and in a man's body now. I
Mm.
can tell you for sure. I walk inside, let's say, a clinic service full of girls, young people. Just because I'm a guy, they stand up. Like it's one thing that I've realized, and I
Who
was,
stands up?
I
The
was
little girls, or who?
yeah,
The
not like not
oh,
baby,
you said it.
not baby.
The nurses are standing up.
Okay.
No, I just want to know who's
No,
standing up.
no, I'm just saying, you know, there's that privilege that
Oh,
men have, and that's the one example that I have picked up.
they must stand up, Sana. They must bow. What are you talking about? Walk tall. What are you saying? Oh, sir, ma'am. Oh, sir, ma'am. Ha. That's
Yeah.
it. You've entered the room. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, even men respect each other in a different way than how they respect women. So I
That's
also picked on those things. Yeah.
it's actually very important that you even say stuff like that,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sometimes wonder in a room full of women, like also how how to respect another woman, I mean, so when you're respecting another man, there won't be an automatic, oh, is he coming on to me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because there's always these things now. I feel like now that I'm older, I feel like I can talk to a woman or anybody and hopefully it doesn't appear as though like I'm like coming on to you, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what kind of privilege have you had, Azania?
Yo, not gonna lie, pretty privilege.
Oh,
And
yeah.
not gonna lie, and I don't know what to call it, but I'm just gonna say hyperfemininity,
Yeah.
because when you're hot, you get away with a lot of things.
Oh,
Hey, Azania. Well, enough.
I'm just being honest. I remember this one time when I was in campus, because you're not allowed in the library, because you're not allowed to eat in the library, right? So this male guy comes over. I don't know, it's some kind of security. And he comes over and he finds me eating. I was eating an apple, right? He finds
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
He
yeah.
calls me over, I go over, I just look at him in the face. I'm like, excuse, and he just let me go. Nothing, no
And
fine,
you
no
carried on
nothing.
eating your apple, or you threw away the apple. What did you do with the apple?
I gave it to him. He took it.
Oh, you gave him your half-eaten apple. Okay.
And usually when they find you eating no cider, you get fined. Okay, I didn't.
Oh,
He
yeah.
just let me go. Honestly, that's it. If when I get away with a lot of things, and I get gifts, and things are easier for me now.
Oh,
Honestly speaking, not that I don't work hard for my things, but when you're pretty, you can get into places.
Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly,
But it's great. I think
honest.
you guys are using this privilege very responsibly. I trust you guys with it. You guys must carry on there, right? Um, now, okay. I keep on switching it up with it. Sorry, if I'm looking here, I'm looking at my list of questions for you guys because we were talking about how this is a safe space, and I'm also looking at on Facebook if there are any questions. Azawaka, my left phone boy is saying that to you. Like, it looks like the people are enjoying the conversation, guys. And we are about a few more questions left. And if I didn't say so before, any question I'll ask you, you're more than welcome to ask me. It's not an interrogation, right? But you know, would you guys change your gender marker on your ID? And is that important to do?
Yeah. For
And
me,
do you are you looking totally different? Are you having issues with your ID currently, both of you?
yeah, I definitely need to change my ID because even for traveling purposes, like I get people at the border there. I get people um staring at me when I'm called aside and interrogated about my ID, and it's quite embarrassing. It's quite embarrassing and it's singling me out. And I
Yeah,
always, yeah, if I'm traveling with public transport, I'm always the delay, because they screening that they need to do this fingerprint things, and then because they don't trust what they see with their eyes, So I need to change that. Even with licenses, driving license, the other guy said he wants to charge me with theft because this ID is not my. the driver's license is not mine. So I had to like call my sister to come and say, no, actually, I swear and I swear by the Bible that this is
My
his.
word.
Yeah, so it's so inconveniencing. So it needs to change. Like it literally stops everything for me. It delays things.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yours is also like that, Azania.
I have a friend who, a gay friend, obviously is male, right? And she applied for a post. I mean, sorry, he applied for a post, and this person is gay but very feminine, right? And they don't need to change their gender marker. They applied for the post, got called in for an interview, got to the interview, he was told that they were looking for males, but not his kind of male.
What does that mean?
It means he's too feminine to be male.
What was the job?
What?
It's being a teacher. The principal
Oh.
told him that, yeah, the principal told him that there were a lot of females in the staff room and they needed to mix with other males. Now, this person is male. He
Just
qualifies
because he's
as
gay,
a
he's
male
not
teacher.
male.
What's wrong with
He
the-
qualifies.
He's a gay man. Why can't the teachers mix with him?
Because he's gay but very feminine, so they had a problem with him. I don't know how, why.
That means he's not man enough, I guess.
But why does he need to be
Men-
anything enough? They're here to teach the kids, not to mix.
That's
Exactly. You know, it was their excuse. They're looking for a male, but not his kind of male. They're looking for
I forgot.
maybe
That's terrible.
more
Did this happen in Bloemfontein? I just wish, I mean, like, that is a serious
No,
discrimination.
he actually followed due protocol and was hired on the spot.
Well done. I was about to say there's no way.
Called
How
the
dare
Department of
you.
Education, consulted other people, and he was hired.
Well
So
done.
gender marketing for me is very important. You know, I think it's
Because-
very important.
Because every time, like, I sometimes get into the gender market conversation, usually, you know, the trans women that want it, it never seems like such a practical inconvenience. It always, like the other examples, like you can't get, you can't like apply for things, you can't have a bank account because they won't let you use your current ID. Do you know what I mean? You know,
Exactly.
and like these are just so many examples, right? Yes, wait, hold on. What is the most responsible thing? Now we're going to talk about the HRT, yabo? The gender affirming treatment, all right? Today's wasn't the topic of the gender affirming treatment or the HRT, but I'm going to ask an in-depth question instead of lots of questions. Ne? What is the most responsible thing, ne, a trans person can do while on hormone replacement treatment? So with every of your experiences, whatever it is that you think, whatever you do, if you're taking your hormones, what would you say would you recommend? Are you going to start with that, Azania?
I think for me it's to educate yourself firstly about the side effects, because you know, Nosana, I didn't know you could maximize the effects by doing certain things like exercise, eating nutritious food, you know, getting enough quality sleep. And I think as a trans person on HRT, it's very important for you to educate yourself about the side effects, because now what I was having difficulty dealing with while on HRT was managing stress. You know, I didn't know how to. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it got very bad. I had to be on antidepressants. You know, I couldn't manage my anxiety and other things. So I think what's important for you if you're on HRT is to make sure you educate yourself about the side effects of being on HRT. Very, very important.
So how did educating yourself help your stress? What did you do to manage your stress now that you researched?
Because listen, I thought I always knew how to deal with stress. Now I didn't know being on hormone therapy comes with, you know, you having difficulty dealing with stress. Because I've always knew how to deal with my stress and not needing any kind of techniques or skill or anything. You know, I just could deal with my stress by just dealing with it. You know, and I had to find out what to do, you know, the breathing techniques, how to manage my stress and all that. Oh, I also I heard that consuming a lot of alcohol and smoking a lot of cigarettes while on HRT is bad.
It's bad. Is that good? Is that bad also for your mental stress? Because I know because of your liver that if you're having too much alcohol, then your liver is busy cleaning the alcohol and not doing the effects it's supposed to do on you for the changes that you want on your body. But
Yeah,
would you say alcohol also affects you adversely even more with your mental health because you're on hormones? That your ability, yeah.
I'll tell you this from my personal experience, right? Every time I go out, consume alcohol, and come back, my hangovers now are slightly different in a way that I wake up in a depressive state.
Oh, you more, yeah, your hangovers also now have a depressive state also.
Yeah, you know, usually will be just dehydration, fatigue, you know, headaches. But now I just wake up and I'm all gloomy and emo and darkness and all that. So it's very much important to know that. And I'm refraining on alcohol, by the way.
And you know what? Sorry?
I'm refraining from drinking alcohol.
So you are refraining at the moment. So anybody wants to take you out, there's no alcohol for you. So people mustn't think like, oh.
I'll probably have one or two and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I mean, you know, I think, yeah, that's some really good advice. And you've named quite a lot of things there, you know, cigarettes, alcohol, knowing yourself.
Also, yeah, yeah. Yeah, gymming, like exercise is very good.
Yeah. What about you, Andile? What is the most responsible thing a trans person can do while on HRT?
Yeah, for me, it has to be your regular appointments. Listen, I always tell people that if you don't do your doctor's appointments, if you don't do your checkups, we don't know, you won't know if you are damaging anything or if you are doing any, you know, damage inside. And also your mental health. I mean, HRT it's got everything to do with hormones. And if you don't do your doctor follow-ups, then you won't know if you are dealing with hormonal imbalance. And if you talk about hormonal imbalance, I mean emotions, I mean, you know, stress, depression. So if you do your doctor follow-ups, you'll be told no, your testosterone is very high. This is why you are so emotional. Take it down. Or no, your testosterone is very less, so we have to up the dose. Or maybe your liver can't take it. You have to take a break. You will never know until maybe you have done so much damage. So I feel like the first consultation is what most of us are looking forward to. And then going forward, no, we just get testosterone in. I mean, even a fully matured man, there's a level of testosterone that they have to take. And if it's high, you know how raging they become and how.
Yes, I wanted to ask that.
Horniness.
Yes.
You said rage. Oh, you said horniness or rage?
Rage.
Did you say rage or honey?
aggression.
I said
aggression.
horniness. I know there's like people get really horny on the testosterone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I heard
mean,
that.
yeah, there's a lot of things that
And
changes
also
with
rage.
like
Yeah,
aggression. Yeah.
yeah, I
But
heard
does
about
that mean
aggression.
but you are
Because
angry or
now,
you take it out on your partner or you just
hey,
angry?
now because you cannot handle your own emotions, they are something foreign. You want something to take them out on, and you become so angry that you don't know why you are being like that, and you start doing things you shouldn't be doing. So it is important that we do our
Yeah. So you're saying if it gets like that, it maybe you got a hormone imbalance. It's not that
yeah,
maybe you
it's
are.
probably hormonal imbalance. It's either it's very high or we need to now up your dosage, in between those two. Now, for you to know, the doctor has to do this tests on you. So if that's what I'm saying, it's important also to do counseling. Now, it goes hand in hand to say if you neglect your doctor's appointments, it's going to affect your emotional state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yabona again. Yabona again.
So
Yeah.
for you, for trans men is aggression, and for us it's depression.
Oh, summarize for us. Yabona again. Thank you, guys. Hormonal imbalance. Oh, guys, ah,
No,
it's
what, I'm not a medical doctor. All I'm saying,
no,
all
it's
these
heavy.
things
It's a
I
lot.
am
I
saying,
care a lot. I care.
yeah, I'm saying all these things from lived experiences with
That's all we need. That's
my
what we
trans
want.
brothers, and as we discuss
Yeah.
and we do our
Eh,
own findings.
wait, guys, for goodness sake. Because I mean, it's nice all the different advice that we get. People are going on HRT for different reasons, and some effects you will feel, some you won't, but it's always good to know, what's possible out there. Because the more prepared you come in, the more you will be able to handle what happens to you, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys, I think I can tell you both that you are both wonderful activists. Azania, you don't need to be working at Tulana or any LGBTI to be an activist if you walk the street proudly the way that you do. Andile, now you've gone from the LGBTI space to the sex worker space, like the amount and the wealth of knowledge that you are having and experiencing. I just so want to talk to you about other topics as we come, but
Yeah.
each of us sometimes have a personal cause that we really care about, that's really personal to us, or something that's big that we think is too big for us to do anything about. Is there anything that you guys really care about that as activists you wish you could do more about, or you are currently doing, or you want people to be aware of, that we should all like try and see, how we, better that situation, or just be aware, our role in that? Any activism. Let me
Yeah.
start with you, Azania.
Oh yeah. Now for me, it's always gonna be education. Honestly speaking,
Yeah.
I have an academic scheme that I'm running. It's an extra classes scheme.
Yeah.
I get to be with kids after school
Wait,
during the
please
week,
don't
and
call it a scheme. When use the word scheme, it sounds like you're pulling
Vague.
a
Yeah,
shire. You got
she's
a real
yeah.
vague.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got
okay.
unless I don't understand the word scheme, that I'm corrupt or whatever. But like, you've got a real educational program that you're running, and unless a
Yeah.
scheme, word
Yeah.
scheme is
Yeah.
fun to use.
Okay, I'm gonna call it an educational program that I
Yeah,
run for kids after classes. It's
right.
it's what I do for my community, for and other people from very far neighborhoods. It has got as far as that. Fortunately for me, I get to, some of my clients are people like very far away from my neighborhood, and my goal is to honestly give these kids at an early age skills that will help them solve problems at a later stage. Not a lot of them prioritize education, you know, and honestly speaking, school, I think there isn't a lot of time for kids to grab and have a firm understanding on things that are happening in classes from 8 to 2, you know. So I that's what I do after classes. I get to be with these kids, you know, and also on weekends, and also on holidays, because, you know, we don't rest here. We just keep on going and going and going and going and going. You know, we
Yeah.
only
Oh,
get here
wow, that's
in
amazing.
December. Yeah, so my goal is education, honestly.
Yeah.
I want to give them skills.
Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you for being such a positive reflection of us in the queer community, in the trans community, because we're always known to be doing like things that are too glamorous and,
Stigma.
you know, and
Stigma.
it's okay to be a beauty queen, to do beautiful things and be a model or whatever. But I love that you know, you want to give back, and just you doing that, even if maybe a parent had a particular stereotype about a trans person, but they encounter you and how you're helping their kid, you don't even need to be talking about anything. You are just, you
Yeah.
know, so that's amazing. Thank you for that, you know. And what about you, Andile? What activism
Mm.
thing you
Well,
care
for
about?
me, it has to be like um, capacity building and strengthening the community, and not just the LGBTI, but all the marginalized groups. This is why I have been taken upon me to not only advocate for what I only know, which is me and my alphabet gangs. No, I have taken it upon me to advocate now for, you know, all the marginalized groups, because I feel like if I focus on one group, I'm not doing enough. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just saw me with the LGBTR. Now I'm with the sex work. Now tomorrow you'll be seeing me with the men's to boys programs or whatever you see. You'll be like all over. Yeah.
You know what I love about what you're saying, Andy, you know, and guys, I think we all feel like this, but sometimes they like to group us together and they call us key population. The trans community, many have sex with men, prisoners, people who use and inject drugs. And then I thought to myself, if I'm going to be grouped with these people, I'm not going to, you know, sex workers as well. I'm not going to be like, oh, but I'm just
Yeah.
a queer person. I'm not a sex worker. Oh, I'm just a sex worker. I'm not
Yeah.
a person who uses drugs. I'm not a prisoner. If we don't know everything that we advocating for, and then I'm already grouped in the same community, I might
Yeah.
as well know what sex workers are fighting for, what prisoners are fighting for, what people who use and inject drugs are fighting for, so that we can help each other out in our absence. But that also is why, for me, I was asking you this question: what is trans love? You know, because, you know, why does trans have to be singled out as the most difficult LGBTI alphabet? As if like, oh, but at least you're not trans. Oh, the worst you can be, at least, you know, at least you're gay, you know, you're not trans, you know. So um you know what I'm talking about, you know?
Yeah, I
So
know.
what is trans love for you, Azania?
Well, trans love for me, as I like to call it, T for T.
Yeah.
It's that transgender people may experience sexual and romantic attraction to other transgender people. You know, it's like for instance, a transgender female can date a transgender female. It happens.
Yes. Oh,
A trans man can date another trans man. It
that's
happens.
nice.
You know, it's like what we said, human sexuality is
Yeah.
flexible.
Oh, maximum. I love how you are maximizing on this. This is brilliant. I love it. Thank you. Andile, what is trans love for you?
Let me be honest. I like to say when I don't have information about something, I will just say, I don't really know what trans love is, it was actually when you sent that, I went and Googled. Because with me, I'm speaking, like I said, when we started, it's from a personal experience, which was something new also. And I think I have to look more into what trans love is.
The new normal, ne? What? I am not influencing or defining trans love. I'm just here in the pot of trans love. And what I'd like to say is what I'd love trans love to be, and any love to be, is normal. Why is there only one sexual orientation and one gender that is normal and everything that they do is normal? That everything else has to be interrogated from so many angles before we agree with it. Do you know what I mean? Trans love can evolve. Thank you so much to the biromantic heterosexual. There's more things to come, guys. There's more things to come. So
Yeah.
for me,
Exactly.
plus,
With
today we were like, the plus is there. That's what I want to say.
Listen, with that regard, I was just I when I was doing a research, because I was like, okay, this sexual fluidity thing, let me look into it. Only to realize that, okay, I know I'm sexually fluid, but apparently they call me gynosexual. Yeah,
What?
gynosexual.
Gynosexual.
Yes, gynosexual, which means attraction to women, female, despite the fact that they might have been born male or what. Just as long as that person says female, it's gynosexual.
Is it biologically female, or like
No.
just?
I think gynecology is the study of the female private parts,
Yeah.
right?
But
Yeah, but
now,
that's why we thought you want the one that the gynecologist will say. This
yeah, but no, it's you can search now gynosexual, like you are attracted to
Wait,
female
so
women
a
despite if they were born male or not.
So this is a woman with that, she was born with that genitals or not, with that brand new
Yeah.
genitals,
Or it's
old
still the one
vagina,
that they were born with,
one
or
the gynecologist will go there and say, I'm dealing with this one. The one that we got last year, the one that was born here. That's what we're saying, right?
hey.
Are you traumatized, Azania? You look a bit traumatized.
Hectic.
no, but then it's like we say, we research and we find out that how to know yourself. You have to say, oh, this thing is it's what
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
is, yeah.
No, the word
Okay,
gyna.
so let me make sure I'm getting this. A gyna, what did you say it is?
Sexual.
A gynosexual.
Gynosexual is primarily attracted to the female private part.
No, any
No,
woman.
no.
Right.
Listen. Let me find you something quickly here. The definition says where do I have it? Jesus, why did I even mention that?
A gynosexual is a woman, someone who's attracted to a woman, whether they were born with those genitals or they bought them or made them later. Terrible things. You see, you mustn't guess these things.
Yeah.
Guys, I've only got one more question after this. So let's just close this guy sexual so that we understand it. Are you busy looking it up, Andile?
Oh yeah, I wrote it somewhere. Let me look it up.
Yeah. But I'm glad that we are on the fact that we are still on the topic No, the trans love, the sexual fluidity, because the next thing I was going to ask you at the end was like, what is your message for the sexually fluid out there? The sexually fluid in the closet, the sexually fluid not in the closet, wherever they may be sexually fluid, you know. But now the more I'm speaking to you guys, the more sexually fluid I'm becoming, I'm telling you. I think you guys know you have this effect on people. Why are you, this is what I'm saying.
Guys, why can't you search this?
Okay,
Andile, did you
never
find
mind. Let's leave the gynosexual out. Almost done. I'd like you to answer my last question, please. And we didn't have a lot of comments, or else I would have read them. Wait. Oh, here we go. Sorry, we've got some questions before you answer.
Oh.
Yeah, the question. There's 10 questions. Where did they come from? Malefu boy says, as for me, boy love, we know who the people like Aza, my baby, they are wholehearted. As for me personally, Aza is the only person who showed me love, and that I can live again as a better version of me. Society is crazy, bro, or is it nepotism? I don't know, but for me, I love you guys. Wish for more people like her. Hey, they love you guys. I also just don't know what is trans love. The question trans love also got some people. Well done for that, guys. You got a nice Nansiga. And then the last one, the question that just got asked now is, are you experiencing the same thing, Andile? Pupulang experiencing what? Oh, there's more comments. Well, anyway, that's what we have. Anyway, I'm only seeing 5 comments, but it says there's 10 comments. Let's see what's happening here, guys. Before we let you go. Anyway,
I found.
did you find the definition? Fantastic.
Guys.
This is how it's spelled. This is how it's spelled, just straight from Google. GYNE sexual or GYNO sexual, ne? And then the meaning. It means someone who experiences sexual attraction towards women, female, and or femininity, regardless of whether they were assigned female at birth.
Oh, okay.
That's much better.
Yeah.
Femininity.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that you actually say that, you know, Andile, because some trans men, they can fall in love with another trans man who is expressing masculine. So now you are saying you will never really be attracted to another masculine person.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
Because they also say sometimes the hormones, they do that, that you were gay when you agreed you're a female. Now you're going to be a gay when you agree that you're male. And that's it, right?
Yeah, I think that also is influenced by, being comfortable with it's for some trans men I know when they were seeing women before transitioning, and then after they started seeing men, it's because I feel when we started talking, it was only because it's easier to undress or be wholeheartedly in front of a female. So when they become comfortable in their bodies, they start being able to, also let their guard down and explore and experience whatever the feelings that.
So while they were just changing the vest, just slip and fall.
What?
All right, you guys. I thought like what we were talking about is like, no, you are saying, do you hear what I'm saying? I'm saying, trans men can date trans men. Well, now you're saying it's because they've just got comfortable when they were undressing.
No. I was trying to say, to explain what we were talking about with being straight and then gay and all the change. I was saying one of the aspects that I had contributed is just you also being comfortable in your own body, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not minding the next body. It's not about the
Yeah.
masculinity.
What
It's also you. Oh, okay. No, I get that. Guys, what is your message for the sexually fluid? It's so risky to be sexually fluid. You guys didn't highlight enough some of the tough times that you had while you were busy being sexually fluid, and I commend you for that. You just threw a few things about how they were, but the rest of the time I was just exploring and loving it. But there must be a message, you know, because the sexually fluid out there, they're not as brave as you, some of them, hey?
Yeah.
I'll start with you, Andile.
Well, for me, I'll just say, this is coming from a very heartfelt, personal. You know, I'm now telling you about me at this point. Listen, please do what makes you happy. Honestly speaking,
Yeah.
like it doesn't help that you're already living as a Black lesbian woman. You don't need to help people torture you. You know, you don't have to be part of your oppression, your sadness, your sorrows. Just get out of the box, you know, and you'll see a lot of education, a lot of understanding. Sometimes you don't need to get out of the box to actually have sex with people, but to get out of the box to learn other things, because some people knows only who they are, but beyond their sexuality, they don't. So just get out of the box and, you know, indulge in conversations about sex, relationships, and diversity. That is when you will realize that all the things that are being said are only designed for, you know, cultural purposes or religious purposes, because that's someone's belief. But create your own belief and stick by that. You'll see everyone will finally also take you serious, because you are able to say, no, I will not follow suit with whatever everyone is saying, but I will be my own person and not torture myself with everyone else. Yeah.
Oh, wow. What makes you happy, hey? What about you, Azania?
Listen, I would say defy those standards, you know, defy those society norms. I would say challenge the status quo. You know, if there's a spark, it's there. You know, go for it. Life is too short.
Blow on that spark, you know, catch fire.
You know, life is too short, man. Love who you want to love. That's what I want to say, honestly. Love who you want to love.
You are on the forefront, guys. I feel like there was only heterosexuality and they had to do falling in love. And then, oh, there's same-sex love. And then we did that. And then like, oh, but there's trans people and then they can fall in love with whoever. But now I feel like there's even a smaller niche, which we're talking about, where even we've left the LGBT community behind, because queer people want to fall in love with other queer people in the queer way. And we're saying the queer way can change like so much, you know? So I can't wait to find out what the new normal is gonna be. That like back again at the end of the day, mom and dad is gonna be mom and dad. You're gonna have kids, but you know, when you bury mom, you know, you only find out, oh, but mom wasn't born my mom, you know, like whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. So I feel like we are taking like evolution back to the beginning, and I can't wait until it's normal, guys. Thank you so very much. This was very exciting. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think you've done something so important. I've learned so much from you. It's been very exciting. Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know what else to say, guys. Please say your last comments. I don't know if I've already asked you that, but I really appreciate you.
All right. Ka Setswana ga te mo ja morago ke kgosi. So I guess yeah. So I thank you so much, Nosana, for reaching out and inviting me over on this amazing podcast that you are hosting. And it is through ideas and things like this that we get our voices out there. So thank you for creating this platform for us, for our voices to be heard, and it's really amazing. Thank you so much, and everyone who's watching, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Andile. Hey, Azania.
I just want to say thank you, Nosana, so much for this platform. Please do more things like this. Just give people a chance. Give us a chance to let people know, because the only way to fight this stigma is to reduce it. You know what I mean? It's like we need a platform to respond to these misconceptions, to these negative comments, by sharing our facts and our experiences. Yeah, and to everybody who tuned in, thank you.
So much, guys. Please get on the page. There's more questions coming. Everyone's giving you so much love. I'm also like so grateful.
Yeah,
Until the
I
next
believe
time.
we'll just get in the comment section if anything.
Yes. I can't keep you any further. You must have supper and everything else you need to do. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much. Okay,
bye.